So I'm spinning a little bit of top. As I mentioned, the fibers I use are either roving or top. And roving and top come in all kinds of grades. This is fine merino, and this is a massum, a sort of rug wool. They are both tops, but you can tell the difference in this one's a lustrous, and this one sort of looks like cotton wool. It's really soft looking, and they are that. This will be more lustrous spun, and this will be softer and more cotton looking once it's spun. And then these two rovings are both prepared commercially. This one is what, sort of a standard roving. It's Cotswold, I believe, and it comes from a mill and just in this form. And it's not as evenly prepared as a top. The roving has more uneven staple lengths, and they're combed they're not combed, rather, they're just carded. And so there's a little bit of variation in how the fibers are presented, but they still draft out nicely, and they still can make into a nice yarn. This is also a roving, but it's been pin drafted. So it's a little smoother in that it's been taken one step further down through sort of like a diz, a narrow part of the machinery, and made into an elongated and narrower bit of roving. Even though it's not top, it is a little bit easier to spin, a little bit more aligned than the roving you'd get straight off the carding machines. Now this is silk. They come silk comes in various forms. This is a tussa, and it's a top as well. And this is alpaca, also top. You can get multicolored top and also multicolored rovings. I send a lot of my fleeces to the mill to be dyed, or rather after I dye them, to be carded into rovings. So I use the mills, small mills that will take small amounts of fiber to produce 5 or 10 pounds of fiber that I want to use for a project. I had to give up fiber preparation years ago because there's only so much time. And spinning does take a lot of time if you're spinning to weave, and you need to produce a lot of yarn, and fiber preparation is just one more time-consuming thing. And we happen to have good small mills all over the country, so there's plenty of opportunity to pass that chore on to somebody else. And they do a really good job of preparing fibers to spin. So the roving, is there a difference between roving and top? Yes. The top is going to be a smoother yarn, and the roving will be a little bit fuzzier. I did a couple pieces of fabric, one in roving, one in top, in the same grist, in the same set, to see how they look differently. And sure enough, the roving is fuzzier, and it creates a more fibrillated surface on the fabric, meaning that it has a nap or a fuzzy surface to a fabric made out of roving, more so than a fabric made out of top. What is that good for, or why would we care? For one thing, most of the time, if you want to make a warm woolen, you want that fuzzy surface because you want to trap air. If you want to make a tailorable fine woolen, you want less of that fuzzy surface. So you're going to make your choices based on what your final garment is going to be, and of course based on what fiber you can find. So I wouldn't worry about putting roving and top in the same fiber, in the same fabric. And it's not such an extreme difference in the surface of the yarn that if you're using somewhat the same fiber and one is roving and one is top, I would use them together.